Hey everyone, and welcome to today's new product launch. My name is Thomas and I'm from D1 Store. Today, D1 and DJI are proud to introduce to you the latest innovation from the DJI Enterprise division, the Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced. A little over 2 years ago, DJI made history with the first of their Mavic 2 Enterprise series drones. The Mavic 2 Enterprise Zoom and the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual perfectly bridged the gap between the portability of the consumer series of the Mavics and the advanced mapping and thermal capabilities of the Matrice series drones. Sporting the OcuSync 2.0 transmission system, which allowed for up to 8 kilometers range, as well as zoom and/or thermal capabilities, these drones encapsulated the best parts of the Matrice series in a quarter of the size and price point. The 3 interchangeable modules allowed for a multitude of use cases, ranging from fire and rescue to various kinds of asset inspection or analysis. This brings us to the latest edition of the Mavic 2 Enterprise division, the Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced. This drone supports a whole lot of performance upgrades from its predecessor. Sporting both a visual and thermal camera, the Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced is capable of up to 32 times zoom on the RGB and up to 16 times zoom on the thermal camera. It is also now capable of centimetre level precision with the new RTK module. We had the opportunity to put this drone through its paces at a series of real-life emergency situations in the urban environment. The scenarios that the Advanced was tested in were a petrol station fire, burning building with heavy smoke coverage, and an urban rescue. Compared to the Dual, the Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced has 4 times the resolution, totaling a massive 48 megapixel, half-an-inch CMOS sensor. This allows the pilot to zoom in at up to 4 times lossless and 32 times digital zoom. From providing aerial vision of situations where a view from the ground isn't suffice, to capturing data that is invaluable to high-level management in making long-term decisions about where key assets should be placed, visual imagery is becoming increasingly common in a broad sector of industries. From asset inspection to time-sensitive situations, daily progress overviews and real-time disaster management, having detailed imagery that a half-inch sensor is capable of achieving puts a new insight into what a drone of this size is capable of. Whilst running a series of emergency response simulations, we were able to utilise the Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced massive zoom by keeping it far enough that it could gain situational awareness to the crew on the ground while also zooming in to figure out exactly what was happening in the situation. The real wow factor that DJI were able to give a drone of this size were not just the visual camera specs, but the thermal camera. With 17 times the resolution of the Dual and an increase from 8.7Hz to 30Hz frame rate, users can now capture buttery smooth, high-resolution thermal video and radiometric images all through the DJI Pilot app. Another outstanding feature DJI has incorporated is the added ability of being able to digitally zoom in by up to 16 times on the thermal camera to give a more exact temperature reading on a specific area with an incredible ±2 degrees Celsius temperature accuracy. All done with the tap of a finger by selecting either spot metering or area management. In addition to this, the images are no longer going to be just thermal images in white hot / fusion black hot palettes, but also have radiometric data stored within so that post-processing and pixel temperature values can be identified. This is essential when inspecting solar farms or oil and gas pipelines where post-processing of data on a large scale is necessary. As you can see from the footage we have collected of the simulated petrol station fire, copious amounts of smoke in and around the building made it difficult for the crew on the ground to get close enough to determine if anyone was trapped inside the building. The visual camera of the Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced could see nothing but smoke, but the use of the high-resolution thermal and thermal zoom were able to cut through the smoke and identify a person within the confines of the building. A new display option has also been made available in the DJI Pilot app. Users can now look at the visual and thermal camera footage side by side, which can allow for far greater situational awareness while operating this new drone. When conducting close proximity thermal inspections, this kind of side-by-side comparison allows for not only the thermal but also the visual camera feed. This in turn can create reduced stress in the main pilot's operation. It also allows the opportunity for a spotter to potentially inform the main pilot if he has missed a person or object based on the thermal feed alone. A good example would be if you were operating near a telephone wire or power line. These are things that the obstacle avoidance system may not pick every time, but if you have that side-by-side comparison, you have a much greater chance of being able to spot them prior to an incident with the drone. When it comes to providing an overview, back to a central command unit, the split view mode the new Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced provides seems like a no-brainer when it comes to fighting fires. Not all the time do you want just a thermal or visible image feed getting sent back to the crews in charge of the situation, as both cameras have pros and cons, and when split-second decisions need to be made, having the most amount of vital data available to a number of people can really help crews achieve a more favourable outcome. For example, when a fire flares up, the thermal image sometimes becomes completely unusable, and hence why being able to quickly focus your attention on the other side of the screen instead of worrying about changing camera views really does and will come in handy. Night operations, which were once only achievable through low-resolution thermal imagery, have now become a common occurrence where relying on high-resolution imagery is now the new industry standard. Being able to visibly identify objects or ground personnel from a distance in low-light situations or when smog, fog or smoke is blocking the visual camera from being able to clearly make sense of the situation, the thermal capabilities of the high-resolution camera, as demonstrated by the Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced, make what was previously almost a guessing situation a thing of the past. The RTK module is also an essential feature to the drone when conducting repeat missions, either via the live mission recording, where the pilot performs the mission once and selects the waypoints, angle of desired photo, and subject needed, or is planned through the pilot app prior to initiating the preset mission flight to ensure the aircraft will capture the relevant data each time it is launched. Continuing on with the RTK module, the Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced now sports up to 240 points in a waypoint mission. This is a huge increase from the 99 points on the predecessors. This means that those drawn out, complicated missions are now fully achievable with this awesome new drone. One feature that we've been incredibly impressed with is the new flight performance. The Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced can ascend at a whopping 6 meters per second, a big increase from the 5 meters per second in the predecessors, but the massive improvement is the descent speed. The Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced can drop at a whopping 7 meters per second. That is a huge increase from the 3 meters per second of the previous Enterprise drones. On the dual or Enterprise zoom, this was limited to 3 meters per second in both position or sports mode. Turn the Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced into sports mode, and as long as you're moving forward while descending, the drone will fall at an astounding, almost freefall speed of up to 7 meters per second. You're probably thinking, this shouldn't be flown like an FPV racer. Why does it need to be so fast? But it actually comes down to mission flight time. If you're not having to waste valuable battery time returning home from a distant asset or assessing a life-threatening scene, then it's simple. You can spend more time doing what the drone should be doing and not traveling back and forth to the destination. The increased flight performance of the Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced may at first seem trivial, but in emergency situations where time is of the essence, the ability to launch the drone at speeds twice as fast as its predecessor and bring it down at more than double the rate may mean the difference between life or death as the drone spends less time out of the air. We will now be having a live Q&A with our two most senior enterprise specialists, Timothy and Colby. If you'd like to stick around and ask them any questions about this drone or any other enterprise related drone, please feel free to do so. We'd be happy to chat with you. If you'd like to find out about pricing and availability of the new Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced or any other enterprise product, you can also reach out to us at enterprise@d1store.com.au. Thank you all so much for attending this new product launch, and we'll see you at the next launch.